This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning.
You know, owning a home is great. You get to do a lot of things. It's your place, but it can be a little tough when you hear something that's not right. So we've got Lacey Coleman of Coastal Comfort in because sometimes that thing you hear might be your HVAC system, your air conditioning, whatever, and you have to then judge, is this a thing that I need to fix? Is this a thing that I need to replace? And how do you go about talking to customers about where they might be along that path?
Yeah, for sure. Consumers have to face, with a lot of different things. Myself with different mechanicals in my home, is it the time to repair or replace? And our job as a contractor is to educate, and we give, recommendations. But at the end of the day, it is ultimately the decision of the homeowner. So kind of like our rule of thumb, if it's under 10 years, it more than likely has it should have some sort of manufacturer's warranty, especially if you are the original owner, as long as that system was registered. So within 10 years, it really makes sense to make the repairs. It still has a good amount of life left on it. Over 10 years, between, we'll say like the 10 to 13 to 14 year mark, we start, then it's time to really evaluate how much is the repair, what is wrong. If it's something like a compressor that could be a few $1,000s, then we would strongly recommend considering the replacement of the system. At that age, you're at the end of the lifespan, so you could put in, we'll just say, $3,000 just as a random number, and then a few months later, you may have another major repair, and then now you could be spending 50% of potential replacement costs into an older system and still not have any warranty. So some things to consider when you're evaluating that: is this the first breakdown, or has it been a series of little something here, something there, and now we're starting to have a major breakdown? So the age, also here along the beaches, the salt air is a factor.
Plays a role, huh?
Absolutely. So we start seeing some of that corrosion happen a little bit faster. So here, definitely, if you have a system that is 12, 15 plus years, you're pretty much beyond the lifespan and should consider a replacement versus repair. Just so what makes sense right now may not make sense a couple months from now if something else completely unrelated to this major repair goes wrong, and then you have yourself facing, well, I could have saved this $3,000, and this $1,800 repair could have gone towards a new system, and then I'd have a 10-year warranty, parts and compressor, so then I could be worry-free for 10 years.
What is the busiest time of year for you guys? What makes it so that if you're at home trying to set up your year, you go like, I know I want to have somebody come look. Is there a best time to begin that process, or is it just start it and then we'll kind of work it in throughout?
Yeah, so I have maintenance technicians that are dedicated just doing maintenance 12 months out of the year all the time. So it's not necessarily the timing of it, it's just having it done twice a year. Yes.
And I understand that there is a pretty big advantage to having a relationship with an HVAC company, because you can call them, they know you're not trying to just, oh no, something's gone wrong. What is that advantage? Why does it make a difference?
Having a relationship?
Yeah.
So you hopefully are using someone that you trust, and you have the technicians that come out, they know your home, we know a relationship with you. We're not just coming in and just immediately trying to, or appear that we're immediately trying to sell something. We've been out numerous times, we know your system, we know how it's been maintenance, we know the condition of it, we know the history of it. So it's a little bit easier, I think, when you have a rapport between a company and the homeowner, and we can kind of come to a common understanding that these recommendations are, we have trained technicians, these are professional recommendations, it's not a sales first. That's not our approach. We try to give educated and try to educate the customer, and that's a lot of what I do on here, is trying to educate the customer to make the right decisions. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. We'll respect that, because eventually, if we do a great job,
you'll keep coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
I always love that idea. You guys always talk customer first every time you're on the couch here, and I think that for the folks at home, that makes a big difference. Thank you so much for coming in,
course.
sharing a little bit about that. Should we repair? Should we replace? I think it's a discussion that every homeowner has to go through probably multiple times over the course of a, ideally if you have a home for a long time, you have to think about it.
It's just part of a home. It could be the roof, the HVAC system, your water heater,
all sorts of things.
All the things that, I go through it myself and trying to weigh out the options and see, and sometimes you have to understand what's the lifespan and then start trying to plan for that ahead of time. Ideally, that would be the best case scenario.
Planning, it's a good thing to do. It's also always a great thing to go check out Coastal Comfort. Lacey, thank you so much for coming in today. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We got more Coast Life right after this.